Hi. I am extremely disappointed and frankly very confusticated, uh, perplexed, confused, um, flummoxed. I'm very flummoxed. I don't understand. This, The Marvels, was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. Um, Captain Marvel's one of my favorite MCU characters. I enjoyed the first film. I've loved all of her appearances throughout. I loved WandaVision as one of my favorite MCU projects. And Miss Marvel, absolutely adored. Fantastic show. So I just don't understand how so many people are crapping on this movie because it's brilliant. It's so much fun. It's unique. It's full of surprises. It's everything I could have possibly wanted and so much more. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert for The Marvels. I'm going to go into specific details that would spoil the film throughout, including and not limited to the mid-credit scene. Spoilers for The Marvels. The second it started, I was thrilled that we were getting such a female-centric highlight of the Marvel Studios logo that included so much of Kamala Khan, who I love, and Carol Danvers, who I absolutely love. I'm a huge Brie Larson fan. She's fantastic. Um, so as soon as the movie started, I was just having fun. It was I get from the first frame to the last frame, it is gorgeous eye candy. Every second of this movie is gorgeous eye candy. Terrific cinematography. Uh, and then another thing I noticed real quick, I mean, the actors are all amazing in it. Absolutely fantastic. It was great to see Samuel L. Jackson having a good time after seeing him so somber in Secret Invasion. It was great to have certain things from Secret Invasion pay off in this. It was great to have so many things from so many other things pay off in this. Um, but it was just so captivating. It was just so much fun. There was not a moment where I didn't have a huge grin on my face. The comedy, this is a flat out comedy. I would categorize this film as a comedy. It's so hilarious, lighthearted, fun, tongue in cheek humor. It knows what it is, it knows what it wants to be. It's winking at the audience. We're all having a grand old time. My theater that I was in, I went to like the second showing in my city. The first showing be at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I went to the 6 p.m. showing. And there was quite a few people in there, and they were all having a darn good time, laughing hysterically throughout, very loudly. My entire audience. I'm pretty sure everybody in there was very exhilarated with how much fun we were all having. I went with my 11-year-old son. I'm 40 years old. We both loved it. Loved it. And again, I said this was one of my most anticipated movies of the year, but I went in very open-minded. I knew that it was possible for me to hate it. I knew it was possible for me to love it. I knew that it was possible for me to be lukewarm on it, maybe like it a little, maybe not like it very much, whatever. I mean, Ant-Man's my favorite, and the third one, character, that is, and the third film, which was one of my most anticipated of the year, was, I think I gave it like a 4 out of 5. It was great. Probably my least favorite of the three. I loved it though, but I was hoping to be like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. I did not expect to love the Marvels as much as I did. I walked out of that theater like, oh, okay. So again, actors are phenomenal. The cast across the board, the characters absolutely phenomenal. The character development, like when they're using the thing to go through each other's minds. A cynic might be like, oh, well, this is just a cheap way to recap the shows if people didn't watch it. Yeah, but also Carol knew nothing about Monica, so that was kind of her way of seeing what everything Monica's been through since Carol's been gone. And then Monica also being forced to deal with things that she wasn't dealing with. Like, it was actually a very clever way to develop each one of those characters, not only individually, but as a group in one creative sequence. I thought that was phenomenal. Overall, the story is fun and unique and original, yet simple, sure, but a darn good time. We just need this and this. Boom. We got three of our favorite fantastic characters with wonderful chemistry off on this wonderful fun thing. Okay, so when that first action sequence kicked in, which my son said was his favorite part when Nick Fury and Kamala Khan were fighting together, which was terrific. But I remember during that action sequence thinking to myself, this is so different, unique, refreshing to see. 90% of action scenes in movies these days is the same old crap over and over and over, and I'm getting pretty sick of it. Bang, bang, shoot, shoot, punch, punch, kick, kick, bang, bang, punch, punch, shoot, shoot, kick, kick. Please. But this was creative. It was choreographed, the way they had to use their different powers, the way they kept switching in and out to different things. There's three different things going on at once in three different locations, but yet all being intertwined into the same thing with all these very colorful, bright, eye candy powers being used. Like, it was such a delight to experience. And speaking of refreshing, I mean, so much of the MCU, especially recently, has been so down and dreary and somber and dark and gloomy, which is all great. But this was such a nice change of pace where it was just have some fun, laugh. We're going to be telling jokes nonstop. It's going to be great. They're going to be funny. This is going to be heartwarming. It's going to be a blast. Enjoy yourself. Sit back, relax. You don't have to sit there for 2.5 to 3 hours like every other movie today. No, we're just going to have an hour and 45 minutes of a good time. And I loved it. I loved seeing Brie Larson's Captain Marvel kick so much butt, like literally punching people and throwing them around. That was so much fun. Kamala Khan, obviously, that wonderful, wonderful actress who plays that character, she is so phenomenal, and I'm so happy for her. And I wish everybody wasn't crapping on this movie because she deserves all the praise. And so does this film overall, and so does Brie Larson, and so does the nice lady who plays Monica Rambeau, and Sammy J having a grand old time, not just phoning it in. It was just so delightful and so entertaining. So then you get to things like, again, spoiler alert, it's about the halfway mark of the film. And to me, uh, this is probably the point where the movie either loses you or gets you for the rest of its runtime. When they get to the planet where she's like, oh, cheeky. When they first brought up the planet, I thought maybe it was an alien name for Earth. I was like, oh, it's going to be funny because they're going to Earth. And it's like, no, we're going to this other planet. I was like, oh, okay. And then she's like, but, I'm like, well, then what's the big deal then? Oh, it turns out the big reveal is that she's a princess there. So, okay, all right, that's funny. No, that's not the big reveal. By the way, this planet, they only communicate through song. And immediately you feel, well, not in my theater. Most everybody was on board for everything. But I can imagine, on average, that's the point where you would immediately feel half the audience check out and go, okay, this is ridiculous. And half the audience go, oh my gosh, how fun and silly. I'm all for it. That was me. I was like, this is fun and silly, and I'm all for it. How hilarious. What an original idea. I've never heard of such a thing. If you have, great. Good for you. I hadn't. So it's at least that original. Like at one point, there's a sky beam, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Another sky beam. But it was a necessary sky beam that had purpose. So I can't hold it against just because so many other movies in the past have had sky beams that weren't executed properly. This one was. Uh, at one point on the Shield station, there's like literal cue poles. I work at a movie theater, so I know a cue pole when I see it. There's literal cue poles that they're using on there. And at first, my cynical mind wanted to be like, whoa, how stupid. What lame production value. Those are actual cue poles. You think they could have come up with something? And I went, no, wait a minute. Maybe if that was like an alien ship and we spotted some cue poles, yeah, that'd be a bit lazy. But this is an earthbound American shield human craft. And that's exactly what we would do. Just grab some Q poles. They're cheap. So it all makes perfect sense. So, but when you get to the singing planet, it's like, okay, you're either with us or you're not. And I fully understand anyone not liking this movie. I understand if you're like, this isn't really my thing. I don't, that's not my kind of humor. That wasn't my kind of story. There was too much action and it was all just boom, boom, boom. I didn't like that. I think there was maybe 2 scenes where I got to catch my breath, but there was never a single dull moment. I was exhilarated the entire runtime. But I get it if it's not your cup of tea. The thing I'm really struggling with that really actually pisses me the hell off, and I have been unsubscribing left and right. Not if you didn't like this movie, don't get me wrong, let me finish. But I've been unsubscribing left and right to people I've been following on social media for years. Simply because they're feeding this narrative to their communities that I frankly find extremely insulting. If you don't like a movie, great. You didn't like it, let's move on. But I've been hearing nothing but everyone saying, as if it were facts, that this movie is garbage. That this movie is just utter crap and just smashed together and absolute nonsense. And it's just, oh, it's so stupid and just awful and bad. And it's just, oh my gosh. And it's just, oh, so much studio interference. And oh, they clearly cut the runtime. And now it's just, oh, a heaping pile of garbage. It's like, okay, no, don't treat your opinions like fact. That drives me insane is how many people, most people, treat their opinions like facts. You cannot like something, but stop saying something is bad. You know how many people think Mona Lisa is ugly? Do you think that means the Mona Lisa is a piece of garbage? No, it's a work of art. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't, but you don't get to go, that's a piece of crap. And don't act like you know the story behind the scenes just because you heard rumors. You don't know if they're true. And if they were, you don't know the story behind it or the reasons why. You don't know what's going on with this film. If everybody loved this movie, I guarantee everybody would be like, oh, but no, everybody wants to be like, oh, but it's because of this and it's because of that. Like, really? You're not the end all be all for oh, I know everything about why something I didn't like is the way it is. Because guess what? Spoiler alert, there's a lot of people out there who love the thing that you're declaring as fact is garbage. So you're telling me I'm an idiot? Yeah, go ahead. I invite you to comment right now.
Yes, you're an idiot, and I can't believe you would let. And how dare you like women? And oh, how dare you think that the MCU is still good? And how could you think that this?
Please, by all means, because I won't care. Because anyone who is going to say that this movie is bad, I think is an idiot. You can tell me you didn't like the movie at all. It's your least favorite movie you've ever seen and it bored you to tears. Fine. But don't tell me that all of the people who worked really hard, really long, and put a lot of love and care and tenderness into this film made garbage. No, they did a great job. And I love this movie. It is top tier MCU for me. I would say top 5 of all of the MCU projects. This is in my top 5 by far. It is without a doubt probably top 5 of my favorite films of the year. Actually, number 3 or 4. Yeah, definitely my top 5 MCU. Definitely my top 5 of the year. I had so much fun. There was so much character development. There was such great storytelling. There was such great action. The music, oh, the music was phenomenal. Both the score and the song choices. The beginning of the movie, for goodness sake, featured a cover of Trouble by Shampoo from the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. Who's that for? It's for me. Me and my son. We loved it. Absolutely phenomenal film with so many surprises. Then you get to the gag with the Flurkins, which unfortunately my movie theater spoiled that whole. There's a whole plot point of the what is this thing? it's mysterious, and then it's the big reveal of, oh, it was a Flurkin egg, and look, there's a Flurkitten in there. Well, because of my job, the second we saw the egg, I was like, oh, that's a Flurkin egg. So thanks for that, AMC. But they were like, are you going to go? I was like, that's really expensive. And then I was like, unless I like love the movie or the Flurkins do something really cool, then maybe I'll get one. So then the Flurkins do something really cool. Wonderful music song choice for that hilarious sequence. Another one that probably that I've actually seen most people.
Oh, that's stupid. And oh my god, I'm gonna roll my eyes. That's stupid. Oh my god.
You can say I didn't find that funny or that didn't land for me. Great. Don't sit there and be like, that was stupid and that was shoehorned and that was lazy writing and this was so generic. What the heck was generic about this movie? Because I ain't never seen nothing like it. I like how they showed, because like in Secret Invasion, there's that beam of light that picks up Fury, but we never really see what's up. And then in this one, we see that they literally have a space elevator. Love that. And Kamala's family being a part of it, that was great. And the whole closure thing with everything that's been going on with Monica. And finally, excuse me, I'm not one of the haters, but giving Carol Danvers so much more character and development, giving us the flashback of her kicking butt and annihilating people, loved it. Giving her this is where I've been, this is why I haven't been back, this is what I've been dealing with. Don't forget that I was brainwashed and turned into like a soldier pretty much without any memory of my former life, and I'm still new to this. But I do love the fact that finally, after Carol Danvers has been in the MCU this whole time for years, she's been out in space the entire time, and finally this movie ends with her moving into Earth. Welcome to Earth, Carol. Great to have you here. I hope we get to see you all the freaking time. There was a time where I thought for sure they were going to kill her in this movie because she's too powerful and you can't keep a character like that around. I'm so glad they didn't. I hope we see Carol Danvers in every single freaking movie, especially like, all Avengers and stuff. She should lead the Avengers if you ask me, because she's freaking Carol Danvers. Anyway, so that was great. But as I was saying about the Flurkins, that sequence with the song and the people running and then they're getting eaten, yes, it's funny and it's well executed to everybody's getting eaten by kittens while the person on the intercom is saying, please don't run. We need you to get eaten by the kittens because it's part of our plan, it wasn't just a gag, it was plot driven. It was Fury's brilliant idea of, we can't fit all these people on the escape pods, but we can fit all these cats on them. Love it. And there's still people like,
oh, and then they can spit the people out, and people can breathe in there. What's that about?
Like, did anybody see the first Captain Marvel movie, or were you just too busy crapping all over that one too? Because they made it very clear that Flurkins have pocket dimensions in their stomachs, so a human can survive just fine in there. In fact, personally, I hope that Secret Wars takes place inside of a Flurkin. That'd be cool. So overall, just a fun, fantastic, great movie, great ending. And then, so I've got like Brie Larson. I love Brie Larson. Okay, so I've got Brie Larson. Miss Marvel, love Miss Marvel. She's adorable. She's probably one of the best actor / characters in the MCU right now, where you get the package of, she's a super fan and a superhero. I love her. So she's great. And then Monica, I like even more so than, she was a little bland in WandaVision, but in this, she really had a lot of oomph. But then to add Tessa Thompson. I knew there was supposed to be some cameo, and that I think they might have revealed that in some trailer like a day or two before the movie dropped, and I didn't want to know. I wanted as many surprises as possible. Thank goodness. I had no idea what the movie was about. The plot was a surprise. The fun action was a surprise. Every moment in this movie was a surprise to me. And then, of course, you have Tessa Thompson shows up. And my guess was Shang-Chi. I was like, well, maybe Shang-Chi will show up because of his 10 rings. And I thought they were going to explain the whole bracelets and the 10 rings all being connected to Kang or something like that. I'm perfectly fine with what we got. Fine by me, great. And then Shang-Chi, fine. No, we're going to give you Tessa Thompson instead. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, and what do you know? It made perfect sense for the plot. we need to give these Skrulls. I used to get the Skrulls and Krees mixed up. Not anymore. Those are Skrulls. And it's funny, when we first got introduced in the MCU to the Kree and Skrull, like I believe the first Marvel, I was like, I will never care about the Skrulls or the Krees, and I don't want to have any stories about them, please, because I won't care. This movie, nope. I totally care, and I'm totally down. Tell me all you want about the Krulls and the Skis, the Skrulls and the Krees, by all means. Fantastic. I'm on board now. I get this movie gave me. I want the MCU to be what this movie was: fun, lighthearted, action-packed, unique, something different. It felt like there's only like a handful of all of the MCU projects that when I was watching it, I felt like I was reading a comic. Like turning a page, splash page, like when they do the 3 split screen with the 3 Marvels. Love it. Like it felt like I was reading a comic and I was having so much fun with every page turn. So you got Tessa Thompson as well as Brie Larson. Yes, please. And then, oh, you want to throw in, we cut to that last scene that, yes, feels like a mid-credit scene, and I think that was the initial intent. The last scene of the film was meant to be the mid-credit scene, and then I think the mid-credit scene was meant to be the end-credit scene, because there was no end-credit scene. So what they did was, what would have been the mid-credit scene was the last scene of the film. And you see the shadow at first, and it kind of looks like a bow and arrow, and I'm like, my mind just went straight to Hawkeye. I'm like, oh, is that Hawkeye? I don't know about that. And then they cut to the dog, and I was like, as soon as they, oh, dang it, I dropped it. Hold on. As soon as they cut to the dog, I was like, oh, Kate Bishop. Hi, Kate Bishop. So I got Brie Larson, Tessa Thompson, and Haley Steinfeld in this movie. And there's nothing wrong with me being really thankful for that. So yeah, we got the setup to the Young Avengers. She even mentions Cassie Lang. Yes, please. Yes, please. I would love a team that starts with Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers. Excuse me. Haley Steinfeld. I just said her name. What's her name? Seen all these names. It's escaping me. Because she's not Hawkeye now, right? Is she? Anyway, yeah. So I would, yes. Give me, what's her name? It doesn't matter. But yes, give me Kamala Khan, Haley Steinfeld, and Cassie Lang just to start the Young Avengers. Yes, please. We can get the Hulk one. We can get the kids from WandaVision, maybe, with the help of America Chavez. I look forward to the Young Avengers now. I'm loving that setup, and I was so thrilled. But now let me tell you a little story. Okay, I'm 40 years old. Okay, and I grew up in the 90s, and the X-Men the animated series was one of my my favorite thing of all time. My very my very first ever action figure was this very one that I'm holding right here. He's even got paint to prove it. He walked on a paint can once. This is from 1991. I got it for catching up on my homework after going on tour with my play. Okay? This was my very first action figure. I love the X-Men. I love the X-Men. Wolverine has always been my favorite X-Men. The X-Men, the animated series, has always been and always will be the epitome of comic book adaptations. Not just X-Men, not just Marvel, but comic books in general. That show was perfection. It still holds up. X-Men 97 next year is one of my most anticipated things of all time. I love that show. I loved it growing up. I've loved it for 30 freaking years. Okay? So, yes, the Fox X-Men movies, great. I love those movies. We had Beast, cool. Kelsey Grammer, great. When we saw in blue, awesome. You got dude in the other ones turning blue. Good for him. Nicholas Holt. Fine. Okay, so when Monica went through the thing, I was like, I hope we get something big. I hope we get something big. Because I know the end credit scene is going to be her waking up and us finding out where she is. And then, of course, the end credit scene is no longer the end credit scene. It's the mid credit scene, which makes sense because they want to make sure everybody sees it. There is no end credit scene. We got to the end credits and the Flurkin made a sound. And then my son goes, "Bless you." And the whole theater laughed. It was great. It made his whole millennia. It was awesome. Anyway, so we get to the mid credit scene and she wakes up and I'm like, here we go. Okay. We knew she was going to be alive. The question is, where is she? What's going to be the big reveal? So my mind started going through the fact that she was clearly in some kind of either hospital or laboratory, if you will. So my mind went to, Reed Richards. I mean, supposedly they were cast already. We just haven't gotten the announcement because of the strike, which, thank God, ended yesterday. This was one hell of a celebration for that. So I'm like, okay, maybe this will be Reed Richards. And then we see her mom. I'm like, okay. But then somebody else comes in the room and I'm like, oh, okay, here's going to be the big thing, right? And I heard the voice right as he first walks by the frame, and I think it was the hand that got me a split second before the voice, and they both clicked in at the same time. But first I saw blue, and then I heard that, and I went, oh my God. And this is I'm not very vocal in a movie theater. I will keep my mouth shut. The only peep you're going to hear out of me is laughter. I keep my mouth shut. And when other people are chit-chatty, I just ignore it. I block it out. I'm immersed. But I could not contain myself when I heard that voice and saw that blue skin, and I said, oh my God. I had to cover my mouth because I just kept repeating from this point till maybe halfway through the credits. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, I was in shock. And I mean literally. To the point where I was shaking through the credits. My eyes glossed over with, like, tears, pretty much. I could not... I was in shock. I'm so glad this wasn't spoiled for me. I would have been so mad. But I never in a million years would have had Beast on my bingo card for the Marvels. And when I saw him, he looked like, yes, I get it. We've had Beast before, whatever. But he looked exactly like Beast from the cartoon. They didn't even use the music cue from the cartoon, which they did in Doctor Strange, which they mistakenly put Professor X in that trailer. Shouldn't have done that. But for me to have not even be thinking about the X-Men at this point, and be getting Beast in what looked to be like the movie, the Fox universe, X-Mansion, Danger Room area. And they do play the music cue for those movies. So I saw Beast, and I was freaking out. I didn't hear a word of dialogue from that scene. I can't wait to see it again. Saw it in Dolby with my son. I'll definitely be checking it out in 3D. But I was just, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, I could not believe what I was witnessing after 30 years of being a fan of the cartoon. And to see the beginnings of the X-Men I grew up on the big screen. Yes, I love the Fox movies. Ups and downs. But I know that we're going to get, like the Deadpool set photos. I know that we're going to get comic and cartoon accurate X-Men. And this was my first look at it, and it looked amazing. I've been hearing people complain about the CG. I did not notice it whatsoever. Stop complaining about CG. You all sound like a bunch of frickin' snobs leaving a Peter Pan play going,
That play sucked because every time Peter Pan was flying around, I could see the strings. I could see the ropes they were using.
Yeah, you're supposed to... It's a tool to help you engage your imagination. They don't need to hold your hand, so get over it. That's why I love The Flash. I loved The Flash.
Yeah, well, no wonder this guy's an idiot. He liked The Flash and he likes the Marvels, so he clearly hates babies and loves women, so I don't like you.
I love this movie. But X Men are coming, and I'm so stoked about that. But and this was the really crazy part. Like that moment, that mid credit scene for me was the one of the biggest theater going moments of my life. I'm talking up there with like one or two Star Wars moments, and up there with one or two MCU moments, like the snap. Like this was huge for me. But there's been so many occasions where an MCU movie's mediocre and I feel like I'm sitting through it just to see an end credit scene, especially in recent memory. Black Panther, Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's nothing but disappointment. Spoiler alert, I don't like either Black Panther films, and I hated Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, even though that was one of my most anticipated films because I loved those characters, and I loved the first two. But that one, don't get me started. So, this was a pleasant surprise of that was probably one of the biggest mid-credit scenes I'd ever seen. Biggest payoff, huge shock. But it didn't take away from or substitute the fact that I just enjoyed myself for the whole movie. I didn't leave the theater going only caring about Beast. Yes, it blew my freaking mind and I could not get out of my seat until the usher had to kick me out. Not really, but it by the way, that's a nice tip as a movie theater employee. If you're going to stay till the end of the credits, that's fine. Even if there's no end credit scene, please enjoy your credits, read those names, listen to the music, by all means. But if you're going to stay till the end of the credits, the second those credits are over, get up and get out. We got cleaning to do and more people trying to come in for the next showing. You can stay, but the second they're done, I need you out of there. Not, okay, let's chit chat and get our coats on. No, that's being done during the credits, okay? Out. Anyway, so I wasn't leaving the movie like, oh, no, I was like, that was an amazing movie and an amazing mid-credit scene, and I'm excited for the future. I didn't sit through the movie to get there. That was just the biggest cherry on top I've ever had in my life. It was freaking beast, and it was Kelsey Grammer again. So I'm pretty sure that we still haven't seen our new X-Men. They're teasing us with the old Fox X-Men, like they did with Ralph Boner in WandaVision, and then in Doctor Strange, another movie I loved, Multiverse of Madness, we got Professor X, but that was, I think, technically, given that one line of dialogue he had, that was the Professor X from Days of Future Past. Which means this Beast, who looks similar enough to that one, even though way, way better, with the underbite, it was perfect. I think he is also from that, especially given the X Mansion, how it looked like the door, it was, and the symbols, it was the same. So I think what we're seeing is we're not being introduced to our new X-Men yet. As great as it was to see this perfect Beast, I don't think they're going to bring in Kelsey Grammer again. I think they brought in Kelsey Grammer to be like, this is that Beast. Because we are now going to bleed in the Fox Universe X-Men for Deadpool 3 so that Deadpool can get rid of the Fox Universe. Then we'll give you our MCU X-Men. Fine by me. But to be in that theater that first day, early showing with my son, that moment with the dozens of people behind me losing their freaking minds almost as much as I was, knowing that we were seeing the first, here we go, get ready, the X-Men are here, which is wonderful considering the first time they used the word the mutants. You probably don't know this because no one watched the show, too bad, sucks to be them, but the first time we heard the word mutant was in Miss Marvel. This movie, I love this movie. 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. I highly recommend it. It's a good time. You should see it. If you're a cynic and you're looking to hate all the like reviews and the stuff, like the professionals who are like, go. To me, it sounds like they went into the movie ready to think these things. Like because of all the drama that's been going on behind the scenes, I guess, they believed it all and went, yep, this is garbage. I knew it. But no, it's a fun movie. And it's a movie, by the way, in case y'all didn't know. It's a movie. Not just a movie, a comic book movie. So everybody please stop taking everything so seriously. A movie's meant to do one thing, entertain you. If it doesn't do that, great, move on. But don't call it a piece of garbage. This is a great film that I loved. Those who don't like it, I respect. Those who are going to say it's a piece of crap, stay away from me. Right, Darwin Jr.? My son named him Darwin Jr. I'm going to go watch The Marvels again, because that was amazing. Top tier MCU. Don't believe the hate. And please, please, don't be a part of it. I'll be over there. Higher, further, faster. Together.